Hello, you are listening to Skipping the Queue. My name is Red. I am joined by Mel.
I'm shoving Ultraman in a locker because he's a nerd.
And I'm also joined by Razin.
Last time, I got the order mixed up. Little did I know it would be Ultraman taking influence from Kagurabachi because of how peak it is.
Shut the fuck up. I'll have you know he's stealing from Kamen Rider. Ultraman Kuga is here. So yeah, we watched episode 12 of Ultraman Blazar, which was a follow-up to last week's secret first part of a two-parter. We're here. We have defeated the weird starfish kaiju thing. We've also
with a little help from our boy Garamon.
A little help from our
Garamon,
boy
definitely.
Garamon. Hell yeah. So I guess briefly, this episode is about Gento getting over his uncertainty of around Ultraman Blazar, because he's, there's like twice now that he's tried to have a straight fight with a kaiju, and Blazar has interfered, and he can't figure out why. I feel like the first time it's pretty obvious, like the not wanting to kill a child. I think that one should be pretty easy to discern. But the second one, it's Blazar pulling himself out of the line of fire and letting like towns get destroyed and stuff. And Gento leaves his little stone behind in his locker.
He
Goes
gets
out.
chewed out too.
Yeah, he gets chewed. So I'm just gonna very very briefly just go over the whole thing, and then we can get into it. There's a whole operation to take down. What was it again?
Gabelga.
Gabelga. Yes, that's the one. There's a whole operation to take down Gabelga involving a spear made out of Garamon carapace. It was wild.
This is Monster Hunter to me.
It is monster. Earth Garon fires that, and then Ultraman Blazar has to save the day. And Gento realizes that Blazar has just been trying to protect people this whole time, and including Gento, last week, involving flashbacks to the first time he encountered Blazar, and then they fight and they win by doing the purple Kuga form. Like, he gets the sword and does some cool shit with it, and wins. And yeah.
Personally, I'd compare it more to Virgil in DMC doing Air Trick and then Nothing Personal Kid, but
Yeah, he's Virgil now. Good episode.
Yeah.
IMO. Thoughts?
I liked the reveal because I really read it last time around of like, oh, we've talked a little bit about how Blazar seems a little immature compared to what you'd expect from an Ultraman, maybe a little childish and, kind of gives into base impulses sometimes. And I just read it as, oh, he's running away because he's afraid he's going to lose. The actual reveal of, oh, no, you were trying to save my ass because you knew right now we do not have the tools necessary between the two of us to deal with this threat, was really good. And I also, this is, I guess, minor in the grand scheme of things, but I enjoyed the scarred stuff this episode quite a bit. Between like Gento volunteering to be like, no, I'm gonna be the one driving. People are like, no, you're not. Then also him meeting up with his old crew, who I kind of forgot existed from all the way back in episode 1.
Yeah.
And it's just been fun to have an episode that is simultaneously about like Gento's relationship with Blazar, but then also too the role of Scarred and the fact that because Ultraman keeps solving the problem, they really have no reason to exist, and everyone's kind of mad at them for that. But they still have the shared camaraderie and commitment to dealing with the problem, even though that they're facing all this pressure.
Yeah, it'd be like if Paris in Ultraman came in, he's like, why are we funding you?
Yeah.
Ultraman keeps saving the day. Just touching on those points. One, I think like the scene where like Emmy and Henri are like, no, you're not driving, just kind of like relates in like similar to like Blazar being like, you need to stop just going, I'll go in all the time, which I think is like one of the things Gento kind of like learns is just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't just rush in and rely on people more, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And second, also, is just like, I do like, this is like the last episode of like the first half of the show. And so it's like a nice culmination of just being like, here's a bunch of stuff from the previous episodes, like our past victories coming together to like have this culmination of like the arc circling, because you have like the Garamon spear, which becomes a Garamon sword, which is sick. But you also have like the railgun from the one episode. And also like the guys from episode 1. Also, just asterisks, it is funny that of the 3 things they bring back, 2 of them are from Henri related episodes.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why Henri's doing an action when she was in a neck brace at the start of the episode, but you know, whatever. She's fine.
She gets out of that quick.
She's like, it's fine. She's got Saiyan biology.
Gendo should have been like, why are you trying?
Yeah.
I'm also just like, it is funny like the way things like come together, just bringing in Lowe's past victories, but also Emmy's like, damn, things fall into place pretty easy, huh? And then again, it's just like, someone up top's greasing the gears for us. That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the bosses coming down hard on Scarred and being like, listen, you have to prove that you're worth anything. You haven't won a single fight on your own. They still haven't. But the threat is there of like, what's the point of you? Why are you here?
That's also part of like why Gento puts Blazar in the locker, because he's like both frustrated and also is like, we do have to like do this on our own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good mix of wanting to prove Scarred is capable and also just not really trusting Blazar. By the end of the episode, one of those problems is solved. The other thing about this episode is the sword fights. The sword is really cool. The sword is really, really cool. I think it's
sick
cool
that it's a Garamon power up.
Yeah,
it's a Garamon power up.
It's like they're feeding us specifically.
His little pose that he does, where he like hunches over, feels more complete with the sword in hand.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I mean, it is sort of like a prayer pose, but like with a sword, it does look like even more so.
Yeah.
The specific shot was, the money shot is the split in half kaiju splitting in half and the Blazar peeking out from it as it opens up. That's really good.
A lot of CG effects though, but that's just kind of this era in Toku in general. So
I have a fondness for this kind of CG in terms of just like, very obviously not realistic, but it's, I've watched the puppets, Thunderbolt Fantasy. I like the kind of fake, not real CG. I haven't been watching modern Ultraman, so I don't know how sick of it everyone is. It might be
I mean, it's just kind of like a general Toku thing in general. Like, it's a thing in Kamen Rider and Sentai as well. So it's not like it's an Ultraman only thing. The other genre is special effects. So that in the modern era, that means a lot of CG.
The other thing, I mentioned Kuga, because there's a Kuga form that has a sword. It's like
that is the sickest form.
It grabs a thing and uses a sword, and he kind of just adopts this, like, he just walks towards the enemies, and as they try to hurt him, and because he's got like this heavy armor or something, and then just stabs him. But the difference between that, like, you know, early 2000s and now is I can see what is wanted in a toy is different now. Because
that's
this
definitely like...
this sword has like a thing you pull to like make it glow, and then you press a trigger, and presumably if you have the toy it will make a noise and do a thing.
Annoying parents for many years to come.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
like a thing of like modern Toku toys is like they make a lot of noise, like more noise relatively, and there's a lot of like functions and a lot of like a lot of collectibles, because collectibles are easy to make more money off of.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can absolutely see that in the thing that he uses to transform, and it's like, well, we're gonna make loads of different stones.
Yeah, like you can see that like in Kamen Rider, where after a decade you get double, where they start having like the Gaia memories they put in the belt, and then after that it's like every year it's like a new collectibles, the gimmick.
The fucking bottle belt from Build.
Yeah, and it's just like that's where you get like a proliferation of forms, because forms are based on like collectibles as opposed to like in like Kuga or Deno or something, where it's like the form is like a button on the belt, so it's kind of like preset. There's only 4 forms because that's all that's on the belt, kind of thing.
The thing about hearing, it has been very funny hearing people who watch like later more recent Toku talking about like form exhaustion. And meanwhile, I'm watching Kuga going, but the forms are really cool. What are you talking about?
Kuga does it well. And it's partly because it's a slow drip feed, and also Kuga is like the only guy.
Yeah, it's also just like he has like a few of them, and it's like it's like built into the show in a way that's really cool.
Yeah,
and
because like the thing with like more modern writer shows is like there's like the first core is usually like a proliferation of like a form each episode that's like a side grade that never gets used again. And then, like, after that, you get, like, a lot of additional upgrade forms alongside, like, multiple riders who get their own upgrade forms, etc. So
you also run the risk of, like, when me and my friends were watching Build, I believe it, like the secondary, like, protagonist or whatever gets a ultimate form that all of us were like, oh, this does not look as cool as his second form.
Oh, yes. I think like Kuga amends that by just like all of them are useful. Like by having only a few of them, all of them can be useful in like very distinct ways. That are clearly he's going to use all of these. They're all good for something. And also it just fits with like the whole thing that's going on with like unlocking ancient power, and it's good.
I can't wait till you get to later in Kuga, but that's not for this podcast.
Yeah, I also can't wait until I reacquire TV watching brain. At the moment, I'm just playing video games and reading.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like how Blazar feels a bit like a break from the form exhaustion trend, because like we haven't really got forms for Blazar as much as we had like new powers.
Yeah. This is how I heard about form exhaustion. Was I saw like a YouTube comment of someone saying, "God, thank God he's not unlocking like forms all the fucking time."
Like this is like the closest we've had to like a real like form upgrade, and the form is Blazar has a sword now, and like otherwise he's just the same guy.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like a change to him as much as like he just has a new tool to use.
Yeah, it's just more like it's a power up in the form of a tool rather than a form change, which feels refreshing, especially because we're like halfway through the show.
I have precisely only one complaint about the sword. I think like the effects around it are fine. I think the use of it is fine. I think it leads to really cool shots. But I think the sword itself looks stupid.
That's fine.
I don't like it.
I think parts of it look cool and parts of it look like a toy.
It's very toyetic, which I expected. If I learned an Ultraman was going to get a sword in a modern show, I would expect it to look exactly like what it looks like.
I mean, Gento transforms with a dual disc. We know this.
Yeah. I wish it was longer though, a little bit. I don't know. It feels kind of too short.
Blazar with a Sephiroth sword.
Oh my god.
Descend, heartless angel.
He grabs Tokyo Tower and it turns into a sword.
We still don't know Blazar.
We still don't know Blazar.
I mean, we don't.
We don't.
He ain't lying. I'm hoping for. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just a couple things for. Well, one, I think it's. I'll say one thing and I'll let you, Brad, continue. But just like it was interesting when like the battle is over, the brass is just kind of like, okay, cool, and they just leave, and then like Haruno, which is like
their one guy.
Their guy who's like their direct superior is just like on the phone, just been like, all right, the second wave is sent off. And it's like, who are you talking to?
He's talking to Kaoru on the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you gonna say before I?
I'm hoping for more scarred stuff coming up.
Same.
Yeah,
I really hope that isn't just a thing said for the sake of drama at the start of this episode and they actually follow up on it, but I feel like this show has been very good about seeding ideas and then coming back to them later.
Yeah. My gut is
that so I'm not too worried about it, but
my gut is that like they're gonna get like some things off their back for a couple episodes just because the battle's won, so the brass is like, okay. At least the Kaiju's got taken care of. They'll probably come back.
Yeah.
I almost thought, like, at the end of the episode that there was going to be a scene where Gento gets told off or something again, but...
no, they got away with it.
And, like, also, just speaking of the other episode, I just wanted to comment that I really like that scene.
Yes, him coming back to the room with the locker.
Was, like, Blazar breaks out of the locker and busts a hole in the wall to escape. And then Gento comes back and sees a mess, and it's just a really good moment where like Gento comes like sees goes through a range of emotions where he's like surprise, then amusement, and then just sort of like giving Blazar the look of like, okay, but you're not supposed to do that. I'm not mad, but you're not supposed to do that.
You don't break holes in walls, please.
And it's just like good in like building on sort of the theme of like Gento being like the dad, parent, and Blazar as a child kind of thing, which I think is interesting.
It's especially interesting considering Blazar protecting him.
Yeah.
It's the scene of that like the scene. Oh, go ahead.
Just like Gento telling his son to protect his mom.
Yep. That's what it is. The scene in the flashback where it's revealed what happens in the 3 years, the incident 3 years ago, where Gento sees a shining light in like a black hole and runs into it going, quick, you have to get out, which is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And then it revealing that Blazar is also there to grab him and to save him. This is just good.
Mutual hero complex homies fusing together to create a bigger hero complex.
Oh, listen, I can't wait for... Now, I assume this is not necessarily how this show is going to go, but there's a part of me in my head that's like, well, it's time to save each other back and forth in like some like ridiculous just, some Madoka shit, Yeah.
It's gonna be fun as we like get further in the franchise and like see the different ways the Ultra/host dynamic plays out.
I was a little shocked that, and I'm assuming they'll get more into it later, but like we got a little bit more about what was going on there. Like we saw the actual moment of them combining, like merging for the first time, but I do think it's interesting how all we know about that incident was it was 3 years ago and there was a fire, but we don't exactly know what caused the fire, and I'm curious if there's stuff going on there. I'm assuming
We also don't know what happened after.
Yeah.
Like
I'm interested to see what exactly is
we see them
happening there.
saving each other, but we also don't know like the immediate aftermath of that. We just know that Gento survived.
And his former squad mates talk about it as if it was like an absolutely ridiculous, life-altering, like, insane event. So
I mean, it was, because he became Ultraman.
For him, but they don't know that, I'm assuming. There's more to that.
It would be really funny. It would be funny if they all just know and have just been like, I thought you knew that we knew. We just keep it a secret. It seems like something you should keep a secret.
Have you told your new subordinates yet about the purple orb and the alien guy?
Have you told your wife?
Hayato, tell your wife. Yeah. Well, do we have anything else before I ask Mel to give us color timer?
I am curious what exactly they're going to do with the recap episode that they're calling Scarred Nocturne, which I'm only assuming means they're adding press turn.
Yep.
But I trust them to maybe make it fun. But
they're following up on Blazar being virtual by adding Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, if you change it to the Japanese audio, it's what's his face, Raido.
Yeah. Just as a note on that next week, because it is a recap episode. Kind of different from like the special episode recap that we got before.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the tradition for like the past little while in Modern Ultra is just like they'll occasionally do like the recaps for special episodes when they expect low viewership that week. But also the recent tradition has been like episode 13, the halfway point of the show is also a recap. So
I mean, that's the time to do one if you're gonna do one, right? Halfway.
Yeah, the other ones are basically, that's why they call it special episodes instead of like numbered episodes. They're just like, well, this is here just because we need.
There was a holiday, and we weren't gonna air the real episode because everyone was gonna be out.
Which I was curious about this. I didn't look it up, but do we know the exact air date of when the final episode is planned to end? I know we have a date in our spreadsheet, but is that like concrete?
That's me projecting.
Okay, I was curious how far in advance they like reveal that stuff.
Like I just based it off of like precedent from like just comparing the dates of recent seasons.
Okay, that makes sense. Because, I'm not familiar enough with Japanese holidays and stuff to know when exactly stuff would be pushed back and whatnot.
Yeah. They just, like, all been, like, the past few years, it's been, like, around the last week or so of January, so that's probably where you'd expect the finale to be.
Okay.
Usually there's also, like, a movie a few months after, but they haven't really announced one yet, but that's a thing we all think about whenever it happens.
Mm-hmm. I'm still very up on the show halfway through. I think that the way the show has managed to do the typical monster of the week format, but then carry over just enough that, like, they do this really impressive balancing act where if you've been watching the whole way through, you're getting more out of the experience, but not so much more that, like, a kid couldn't just turn this on in the morning and then, like, have fun with it, you know? They've been very good with that, and, like, the characters are so strong enough as is that I feel like you could kind of hop on whatever and get to know each of them pretty quickly.
Yeah, compared to, like, other Toku series, like, well, maybe not Super Sentai, but at least compared to Kamen Rider, Modern Ultraman is still a lot more monster of the week comparatively. But also, like, the modern Ultraman stuff is also more serialized relative to, like, the traditional stuff we've been watching.
Yeah.
So, it is interesting the way
presumably, Tsuburaya finds that they do actually get decent sales off the monsters.
Yeah. The monsters have been selling out pretty well this season.
Because I remember you mentioning that one of the reasons Kamen Rider all the villains became Kamen Riders was because people buy Kamen Rider shit. They don't buy the villain shit when they're not Kamen Riders.
Yeah. There isn't really toys of Sentai stuff because the toys are like transformation into robots, but like that's still like Sentai doesn't have Sentai Rangers. It's like the final bosses. That's just not what the franchise is.
All right. While we're on Kamen Rider, I did, and kind of talking about Kuga-ish this episode, I saw a clip from that big Heisei Kamen Rider like crossover thing where it's like all of them on like coming in on their motorbikes fighting bad guys, and I watched it through because someone said you'll never believe what happens at the end, and what happens at the end was ridiculous. But the point is, it got to Kuga and it played his little theme while he was fighting stuff. So like, oh my god, I get it. He's in the crossover. My guy's in the crossover. He's doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the one, I can't remember what the fucking movie was, but the Kamen Rider crossover that had the Kabuto guy in it, and apparently after the fact he was like, yeah, they fucking told me last minute. I would have like got back into shape for it if they had fucking told me in advance.
That's funny.
He was really mad about it.
Toei is not treating people their best.
Yasunobu's skill issue. Just stay in shape all the time. All right, Mel, do you have a color timer for us?
Yeah, this week is 4 minutes 10 seconds.
Nice.
So close. 10 more seconds.
Oh damn, missed it.
420 Blazar.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Oh, also, on that note, I decided, because every now and again I feel like I'll just do this because I'm curious. It's like, I'm going to check out the dub again this episode. And they do distinctively say Blazar. And I was like, okay, I just don't know how to pronounce this word anymore. I'm just going to probably continue to alternate because I'm a jackass, but you know.
Yeah. I can understand why it's Blazar, because I know it probably sounds similar to Quasar, the other black hole astrophysics thing, but like you know.
It also does have an A. So
yeah.
I get it. I still kind of say Blazar. It's just my accent maybe hides it a little bit.
I don't go all the way to Blazar, but I don't say Blazar. Or maybe I do.
We should start spelling it like Motorola Razor. Blazr. That's what we should do.
Razor.
All right. I think that's an episode. We can call it there. Join us next time for I guess
a recap, so maybe
I guess we'll see if we're on.
Because I don't want to hard commit to a recap, but we'll also give it a chance.
I'll certainly watch it, and I might watch it dubbed just while I'm doing something else. But and we'll see if there's much to talk about. If there's stuff to talk about,
there might be more to talk about compared to like the previous one, just because it's a numbered episode. But also it's still a recap. So
yeah,
we
depends if we get a Macross recap or a something else recap.
We'll see if the framing device has enough goodies to talk about. If not, we'll just talk about it the week after.
Yeah. All right. So next week, up in the air. But if we're there, we're there. The episode will be in your feed. It will be good.
The numbers continue to get out of sync.
The numbers might get back in sync. Maybe. No, because it's a numbered one. Wait, maybe? I don't know. Anyway.
We could spend 2 episodes talking about the recap episode.
Yes, there we go. This Thursday is going to be a new Ultra Q, watching 3 more episodes of Ultra 7. Yeah, we'll see you there. So,
Goodbye.
oh,
Wait,
I
no,
didn't
plugs.
do any plugs. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at ultra_q. That is at ultra_QUEUE. I'm on Twitter at gender_redacted. Mel.
Hi, you can follow me at all the sites at Dear Crowns. We have coffee, UltraQ Fund. We have an email, ultraqpod@gmail.com. Resin.
Yeah, you can find me practically everywhere at Rasenbrand. That's RASENBRAN. I guess not everywhere. Twitter, co-host, Blue Sky, YouTube. I haven't had much to do because work has been hell, but you can check out my Twitter and see like my fun hitbox that I made custom art for. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, sick. Now for real this time. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.